tell me a bit about yourself. What do you do? Why do you love space so much? And I know you've got an initiative going out there. What is it?
Well, we call it Photos to Space, and it's the first of many initiatives we're working on. Basically, right now we're collecting digital photographs, and then we buy space on rockets to send a digital media cartridge, and we put it on the rocket, send it up, get it back, and you get a certificate saying that you've flown a photo to space. Right,
and you're doing this with balloons as well?
Doing this with balloons. We're taking any ride we can get to space. So we'll do it on high-altitude balloons. We'll do it on, well, we just finished the launch with Up Aerospace out of Spaceport America, and we're hoping to fly with SpaceX sometime this summer as well. So we've got a lot on the plate.
I think I'll be sending you my photo as well to get up there.
One of the things that's really troubled me about, we're right on this cusp of commercial space flight. And we've got Virgin Galactic, SpaceX, X-Corp. Everybody's starting to create these commercial vehicles, but it's still too expensive. And how do you get people involved, yet keep it simple enough and inexpensive enough? That's where we came up with the photo idea.
It's not a bad idea. I quite enjoy the thought of people doing something with space and having a little souvenir of the whole process. But I guess we're also going to see a lot of amateur rockets getting into space very, very soon. It's getting there, and I'm involved in a couple of projects myself that should see some of that through. But it's going to change the way space actually all works for everyday people, I think.
And that will be a good thing, yes. I'm looking forward to it. I want my ride. When I was little, I wanted to go to the moon. You know, I was supposed to have a vacation on the moon and a flying car by now, and those haven't happened.
Well, I mean, the only joy in my life on that, and I really don't want to go into space anymore because I have a family, and I just hate to think that if anything happened to me, that they'd be left by themselves, because I really want to inspire them about space. I want to do a lot of things about space with them, and being here is one of those things that counts. And unfortunately, space, I think, is still very much in the realm of the test flyer and anyone who really wants to risk their life. I don't think we know for sure how Virgin Galactic's going to go. I hope it goes very, very smoothly. I hope that we don't see anyone having a problem on their ride into space. But nonetheless, I think that it's a long way to go before the safety levels are there that make me happy.
I understand that, yeah. And Virgin Galactic is really taking the smart approach with this, because they're going through a very long, very methodical test regime. But even so, with all the testing, there's still the possibility for an accident. When that happens, it will. It's not a matter of if, it will.
Well, that's why they retired the shuttles, that and the actual cost of running those things. And of course, as we move into space, I think that we're going to find the cost model decreases dramatically. Virgin Galactic's got their cost model, they've got their profit levels, and I'm sure they can come down a long way to withstand any competition from other people. But of course, they've got a good size cabin there to make sure they get a good value out of every launch. But the problem is it's going to come down in price, and we're also going to see a lot of pollution from all that extra traffic into space, I guess. But that's for another day's talk. So what else do you do? I mean, you've saved up for your car that flies, but you don't have it yet, and you've got your ride to space coming at some stage, but what else?
Well, besides the photographs, we're working on a couple of initiatives. The first one would be, instead of just digital photographs, moving into regular photographs. And then we also want to basically allow people to send small items, personal items, into space. It's a little safer than sending yourself. And again, the problem is cost. Even to send right now just a regular photograph up into space costs hundreds of dollars. And we really need to get that cost level down to where it's more affordable. And so how do you do that? Well, you book space on the flights, and you start showing that there is a valid business model. And once you have the business model, you can start, negotiating a little bit for better pricing.
Yes, and of course there's a difference between orbital flight and flights into space. I mean, we just need to get up to that magic height of 100 kilometres or something, and we're away. It doesn't have to go around the Earth; it just has to get out there and come back. So
Correct.
So the price model for sounding rockets is much better than orbital, I guess.
Yeah, by an order of magnitude at this stage. And to send a few ounces, when we I can't give all the pricing away that we use, but when we launched it on Up Aerospace's rocket, it was a heck of a lot cheaper than what we're currently negotiating with SpaceX for. So easily an order of magnitude in price.
I guess a company can send a business card into space a lot cheaper than a bigger photograph. And it'd be great to see how we could commercialise that in the future with all the prices slowly coming down. I don't think we'll see a rapid increase for a few years, but it will happen.
It will happen. Yeah, and we've got a couple of new types of products that we're looking at releasing as well. One we're calling a space disc, and we'll have more information about that hopefully later this year when we roll them out. We sent our first test batch up with our photos on the Up Aerospace rocket, and if it worked, it's going to be a pretty cool device to have.
Fantastic. Yeah. So I guess the next thing is probably to come back and talk with you again in about a year's time and just see what's really happening with all these things that you're doing.
Okay.
And I guess I also would like you to get in contact with us if you find out anything else that would interest all the people listening and watching this video. But I guess one last thing, could you just give us a bit of an idea of what inspired you as a kid?
Well, a couple of things. There were two major events in my life that actually got me to where I'm at today. And the first one was my father went out and bought an old at the time it was brand spanking new 25-inch RCA color console television. Back when a television set was a piece of furniture.
Yep.
And he bought this color TV so we could watch the moon landings. And then he was very upset when it was broadcast in black and white. But, so I remember that moment vividly.
Well, that was only the Apollo 11 that was broadcast in black and white, but unfortunately there was also another mission straight after which blew up the camera because it accidentally got pointed at the sun. We really had to wait till about, I think, Apollo 14 before we actually saw colour from the moon.
Yeah, but I remember my dad being very upset at that, but it was that one moment. You know, there's Walter Cronkite on the TV talking about we've landed on the moon. I remember that very well. I'm much older than I appear. But the second event was in 1998. My twin sons were born, and my youngest of the two, he died 6 weeks later of SIDS. And it's like,
sorry. Yeah.
I wanted to do something to remember him by, but also to inspire people to think differently. By thinking about space, a lot of people of my era, my generation, wanted to go to space, but they didn't end up going. Instead, they became engineers, they became doctors, they became mathematicians, people who could work on these sorts of problems. And if by doing all of this we inspire one student to change his direction from playing Nintendo games to maybe working on something in engineering or in medicine, then it will have been worth it.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, I must say, when your father watched that TV in black and white, you realise who wired up a lot of that gear in Sydney. I don't know if you've read any of the items there.
I've read that. That's amazing. It's one of the things that when I tell people who say, "Oh, the moon landings were fake," I said, "No, I've got some people you need to talk to." So.
Well, I'm also amazed that they haven't cottoned on. There's a lot more proof than the average person actually talks about when they talk about hoaxes and just debunking those hoaxes. But just the mere thought of what it would take to fool people all over the world and to fake a moon landing, the technology required would actually be greater than sending someone there to actually walk on the moon.
Yeah, it's easier to just go and do it rather than try and fake it all up. But yeah, I keep pointing to telemetry because the time it takes for the telemetry to get to the moon and back just cannot be faked. And that lag time is impossible to fake.
Well, also where the dishes were pointing, and a lot of my friends were actually there pointing those big dishes in Australia at the moon and at the spacecraft on the way to the moon. And they would have had to have actually put spaceships right in those positions to make it all happen, and of course the risk of failure would have only just increased greatly, and then to do it 6 times all up to fake that's just amazing. So okay, well that's really fantastic. It's been great talking with you, Joe, and I look forward to our next chat and just seeing where all this is going. And I really love the fact that you're inspiring people all over the world, as well as hoping to make a bit of a business out of it.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Okay, all the best.
All right, take care.